but we are talking about crushing your talk. So before we can talk about how, I am so curious to know, what does it mean to crush your talk? Like, you may use a different word. Don't worry so much about the word, the verbiage, the language. It could be like nail your talk. It could be like smash your talk. It could be, just feeling confident AF that you had a great talk. What does that mean? What does that look like? And the reason I ask this is because I want us to remember that all of this, just like art, speaking, sharing your voice, sharing your story, crushing it, is subjective. Take it from someone who went to theater school, spent her whole life dancing and performing, and it was like, one judge, we would go to these dance competitions when I was little, and we would get first place at one competition. Another place would be like, oh my gosh, your costumes are hideous, or, the choreography is terrible. Art is subjective, and essentially sharing your story and speaking, this is a form of your expression, a form of creativity. Now, you may love the paintings back there, you may hate them. So before we talk about crushing our talk, just remember that you may feel like you bombed it, and somebody watching could be like, wow, that was amazing. Eventually, you want those two things to come together. Right? For me, really crushing it is that I felt great about it. I got all of my points across, and I inspired someone, and they felt moved. Even if that inspiration, I think we talked about this here, what does it mean to make an impact? Even if that is just a smile, even if it's just thinking of something in a different way. So if you connected with your audience, if it's hard for you to know what it means to crush your talk, maybe an easier question is, what does it mean when you see somebody? What does it mean for them to crush their talk? Like when you are an audience member and you watch somebody do a talk, or even online, what does it mean when you're like, oh, she crushed it. Oh, she did so great. Like how? Why? What is it that makes it good? So since I don't see any comments coming through, I will answer this myself. That's what improvisation is all about. And if you are on the replay, please leave some answers. What do you think it's all about? All right? What does it mean to crush? I am up on a stool, feeling really high and confident. For me, it is all about energy. I watched a live last night from my coach, and it was about 40 minutes. And at first I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to commit to this whole thing. 40 minutes, a lot of minutes. But I was so captivated because of her energy. She drew me in, and she was telling a story. And I was like, well, now I can't stop. I got to keep watching till the very end. So to me, crushing your talk, whether that's a presentation, an interview, it's the energy you bring that's going to make people lean in, that's going to make people want to stay, that's going to make people want to know more about you or your message or how they can do what you're doing or how they can help, right? Maybe you're a preacher and they were like, how do I help? How do I do that? How do I want to make a change. That to me is crushing your talk. And yes, feeling good about it in your own person. Because sometimes, you might have a tough audience. Think about comedians, right? I've seen lots of comedians where I go to see them live and I'm like, oh, that's so good. And the audience is just like, meh. Nobody's laughing. It's just something about the energy. So it's not even always your energy. If you are in a live space, it's a lot of times the energy in the room. Just like right now. I'm not getting a lot of interaction here. So I have to bring my energy. But if there was other people talking to me, I saw a lot of comments, right? That would obviously impact my energy. We are all energy. I know so many of you in here are healers and spiritual leaders, and you know that we are energetic beings. We are not just what we see and what we hear. So to me, crushing your talk has very little to do with what you're actually saying or how you're saying it. Those things can help. But first and foremost, it's your energy and the energy that you are bringing to that space. So now that we know what it means to crush your talk or to nail your talk or to smash your talk or to feel really freaking good after your talk, how do we get there? Well, you can go back and look at some of my past trainings because I talk about this a lot, about how to feel more confident when you speak, how to feel more like yourself. And that is all going to help you to bring that energy. But first and foremost, start with your body, right? Your body is energy. Let's not even get to the voice. The voice lives in the body. What do you need to do to get your energy right? The show must go on. Maybe that morning you had a difficult conversation with someone. Maybe you had some grief. Someone hurt you. But for whatever reason, you need to focus on this talk. You need to show up. And now I'm not saying that you should put your talk ahead of your personal life or your family or your health. Of course, take care of those things, right? It's up to you to use your discretion. Like maybe the show shouldn't go on today. But 90% of the time, you're not going to let a little argument stop you from doing your job. So how do you bring your energy, put it in the right spot, and let that go? For me, it all comes down to moving my body. I physically shake my body. I shake it off. I feel where that energy is living. Usually it's my gut or my shoulders, and I shake it off. And I exhale. And I visualize that leaving me, leaving my body, leaving my mind. I can even wipe it off me, right? If you're Reiki healers in here, therapeutic touch, you know what I'm talking about, right? Get rid of that energy. And I need to move my body. I need to do some exercise, do some yoga, do some dancing. And that's going to be the first step to getting my energy right. And usually once I've done that, then my mindset starts to change. Because let's be honest, our feelings, they're in here. They're not always up here. So let's get our energy right by moving your body. So these are the 3 things, right? To get your energy right so that you can crush your talk. Connect with your audience. And I talk about this in the Captivating Speakers Academy and my one-on-one programs. The first thing I usually say is what is your objective? Who are you talking to and what do you want from them? But even before that, get your presence, right? You're confident. When I talk about your energy, it's who are you? You have to feel good within you. Show up with that confident, commanding presence and know and trust that you are going to deliver. That comes before any technique. That comes before any talk, any structure of your story, any points that you have. So energy, 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 that's gonna bring your talk down. Have you ever seen a boring talker? Have you ever seen a boring comedian? I mean, not a lot of them aren't boring, but where they're just I'm going to deliver the message to you today. Or I love notes. I don't believe that you shouldn't have notes to be authentic. I think sometimes having some points that you can look through keeps you on target with your goal and what you're trying to say, because many of us will just start, verbal diarrheaing all over the place and talk about whatever, which depending on your audience, that may be okay, but most of us want to like kind of have a nice little structured story. So having points doesn't mean you're inauthentic. It doesn't mean your memory is bad. It just means that you really care and you want to deliver well thought out information. So you have your little points and you glance at them when you need to. But your energy has to be right. That's how you crush your talk. Because if you have energy that is magnetic, that people want to be around, girl, boy, whoever you are watching, it doesn't matter what you say. It really does not matter. But if you are so focused on what and that you have to, be this inspiring person and have all these notes, then you're not going to have that energy. Are you feeling this? Is this making sense? If you are here, let me know. Hey, Sherry. Yes. Crushing your talk. That's what we're talking about. So like I said, you can go through past videos. You can watch all of those things about how to increase your confidence. All of my old trainings are in the guides section in this group. And I talk more about the actual things you can do to prepare yourself, to feel confident, to warm up your body. But for me, it's body, voice, message. Right? Body, voice, message. Body first. Then warm up your voice, whether you got to do some tongue twisters, some, humming and hawing. I teach people that in my program, the humming and hawing. Okay? But energy, energy, energy. How do we get our energy right? We move our body. We get rid of what we don't need. If affirmations work for you, great. But be grounded, be confident in what you're saying. And not just what you're saying, in who you are. You know what you've come to say. Here's the thing. Public speaking is scary because we're so worried about what the other people are going to think of us. And yes, I always say, make it about them. How can you serve them? But then at the same time, let go of the outcome. You are just here to do a job. Your job is to connect, whether that's, whatever your objective is, connect, inspire, motivate, uplift. Maybe it's simply to share a story. But sharing a story is all about connecting. I know that, half the time the posts that I make in this group have nothing to do with speaking. It's just like, oh, today we went to the beach, or this is my serious face. This is just how we connect as human beings. We want to see ourselves in you. We want to see ourselves, our story, in your story. I hope that this has been helpful. I hope that the next time you go to do your talk, you're not so worried about the notes and the presentation and the backdrop and the lighting and the sound, because I mess it up all the time. But I'm always learning and I'm always trying to get better. Okay, I am not perfect. I am just giving you what I see because I've always been interested in storytelling, in entertaining people and making an impact and making people feel something. Connection, connection, connection. It's what I love. So you want to connect, get your energy right. If your energy is somewhere else, people will feel that right away. So move your body. Do what you have to do with your affirmations or your meditation. But first and foremost, move your body, get that energy right so that you can be connected to what you're saying. You feel confident in yourself. And then you can share stories that make people feel something. That is how you're going to crush your talk. Thinking of them. What do you want from them? How do you want them to feel? And stop worrying about yourself. And if you're going to fail, and if you're going to say this weird thing, I say weird things all the time, and sometimes I say things that probably aren't even real words. I know you're going to go out there, you're going to crush your talk. I can't do it without being like, crush it, yeah. You're going to crush it just by being you.